All right, ready to dive in? We're tackling road transport maintenance schedulers today.
Big topic.
It is. And you've got an interview coming up? Well, we're going to use these RoleCatcher resources to help you prep. They've got this great career guide, an interview guide, and a whole question repository.
Yeah, RoleCatcher really sets you up.
For sure. So before we get into the interview questions, can we just lay out what the job actually is? It's more than just fixing buses, right?
Oh yeah, way more. You're basically like the conductor of a whole fleet, buses, trams, could even be trains. Keeping a city moving, that's a huge responsibility, and it all comes down to making sure those vehicles are in tip-top shape.
Okay, so high stakes, high impact. I saw the career guide mention that the work environment can be pretty intense. What's the reality check there?
Think, starting your day with the roar of engines. A bus depot that's louder than a rock concert. You'll be going back and forth between the office and doing hands-on work in garages, depots, maybe even train yards.
Not exactly a quiet desk job.
Nope. Definitely not. You need to be okay with the noise, the heavy machinery, and safety is a big thing. Always got to be on top of those regulations. And then there's technology. It's changing everything. Predictive maintenance, automation. You got to be tech savvy.
Sounds like a good mix of brains and brawn.
Yeah.
Let's get into the interview itself. RoleCatcher highlighted 10 common questions, so let's walk through those.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the job description to help tailor your answers, even give you feedback on how you're doing. We'll talk more about that later, but it's a game changer.
All right, question 1. Describe your experience with road transport maintenance scheduling. Seems straightforward, but what are they really digging for?
They want to see how your experience actually connects to what they need. So highlight those skills that transfer over. Maybe you manage schedules in a different field or volunteered for a transport organization, something like that. Focus on being organized, knowing how to prioritize, understanding how maintenance works.
So even if you're new to this specific field, you can still showcase relevant skills.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to let your passion come through. Enthusiasm goes a long way, especially if you're just starting out.
Okay, question 2. How do you prioritize maintenance tasks when you're scheduling them? This one feels trickier.
It is, definitely. Think safety first, what keeps those vehicles running safely. Then you've got regulatory compliance, making sure things run smoothly, and of course, cost effectiveness. It's all about balance. A good answer might be talking about using data from vehicle inspections to figure out which repairs are most urgent for safety, or how you factor in feedback from the drivers.
So give specific examples that show how you think things through.
Exactly. They want to see that you can think critically and weigh different factors.
Question 3. How do you make sure those maintenance schedules are actually followed and things get done on time? This sounds like it's all about being organized.
It is. But don't just say you're organized. Show them how go out. Talk about the tools and systems you use, project management software, spreadsheets. Maybe you have regular check-ins with the technicians. Highlight how you pay attention to detail and how you stay ahead of deadlines.
I bet communication is key here too.
Oh, absolutely. Talk about how you keep communication clear with your team, how you deal with unexpected problems, and how you keep everyone in the loop.
Question 4 gets into leadership. How do you manage a team of maintenance technicians?
This is where they're checking out your ability to motivate people, delegate tasks, give good feedback, and handle conflict. Again, concrete examples are key. Did you start a new training program that boosted performance? Or successfully handle a disagreement between team members? Stuff like that.
So you're showing them you understand what it takes to lead a team, not just manage tasks.
Exactly. Technicians are people, not just cogs in a machine. Show that you get their challenges and can create a positive work environment.
Question 5. How do you stay updated with industry trends and best practices? This is where your passion for the field comes in, right?
Absolutely. Talk about how you're committed to professional development. Maybe you go to industry conferences, read journals, take online courses, mention specific organizations you're part of or publications you follow. It shows you're hungry to learn and always want to get better.
Okay, question 6 is a classic. Describe a time you had to deal with unexpected maintenance issues. How did you handle it? Everyone knows to have a story ready, but what makes a good story great?
Choose a story that shows off your problem-solving skills, your ability to handle pressure, and your leadership. Don't just tell the story, walk them through how you were thinking. What were the challenges? What solutions did you consider? How did you involve your team? And what was the result? The story should show off your skills and leave a lasting impression.
So it's not just what you did, it's how you thought about it. Great takeaway.
Yeah.
All right, question 7 gets tricky. How do you balance the needs of the drivers with the needs of the business when you're scheduling maintenance?
This one, they're testing if you can see things from different angles and make tough calls. Don't give extreme answers like, always keep the drivers happy or profits are all that matters. Show them you can find solutions that are both practical and fair.
So find that middle ground and use a real example.
Right. Maybe you had to decide between a driver's urgent repair and the possibility of disrupting service. Walk them through your decision-making process and why you chose what you did.
All right, we've covered a lot. Let's catch our breath, and we'll be back with more interview questions in a moment.
Okay, back to those interview questions.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah?
Where were we? Oh, right. Question 8. What steps do you take to ensure that maintenance tasks are completed efficiently and cost-effectively? Feels like you need some serious industry know-how for this one.
You're right. This is where you get to show off that you understand maintenance processes, best practices, and all those industry benchmarks. Think about strategies you've used to streamline things, reduce waste, maybe even got better deals with suppliers. Did you put a new inventory system in place? Find a way to cut down repair times. Those are the details that'll make an impression.
So you're showing them you can analyze things, spot areas for improvement, and then actually do something about it. That's impressive. Okay, question 9. Describe your experience with regulatory compliance in road transport maintenance scheduling. Kind of a no-brainer, right?
It might seem straightforward, but it's your chance to show them how much you care about details and safety. Don't just rattle off regulations. Talk about how compliance is built into everything you do. Do you track deadlines religiously? Regular audits? How do you make sure your team is always up to date on the latest requirements? They want to see that safety is part of your DNA, not just something you tack on at the end.
Makes sense. No room for cutting corners when it comes to safety. Okay, last question on RoleCatcher's list, number 10. How do you ensure that your team is meeting performance targets and delivering high-quality maintenance work? Feels like this one brings it all together.
It does. This is the sneaky leadership question. Talk about setting clear expectations, tracking progress, giving feedback, basically, how you build a culture where everyone's always trying to get better. Be specific. What metrics do you track? What feedback systems do you use? How do you recognize and reward good work? Paint a picture of a team that's motivated and wants to excel.
So actions speak louder than words here. Love it. Now, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, RoleCatcher's AI tools. How can our listener use those to really stand out, not just give generic answers?
That's where the magic happens. RoleCatcher's AI isn't just giving general advice, it's looking at the specific job description to help you tailor your answers. It's like having a coach who knows exactly what this employer is looking for.
That's amazing. Can you walk us through an example?
Sure, let's say the job description talks a lot about experience with CMMS. That's Computerized Maintenance Management System, by the way.
Pretty standard tool in this industry.
Exactly. RoleCatcher's AI would pick up on that keyword and might suggest telling a story about how you successfully implemented a new CMMS system in a previous role, highlighting how you adapted to the new technology and made things more efficient.
So it's about connecting your experience to what the employer needs using their language.
Exactly. And it's not just about content. Their AI can also give feedback on your delivery pacing, tone, even your body language if you're doing video practice. It's like having a virtual interview coach.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So you know what they're looking for, and you can fine-tune how you present yourself to come across confidently.
Okay, so you nailed the interview. Congrats. But it doesn't end there. RoleCatcher has tools to help you after the interview too, right?
Right. They have a platform where you can track your applications, take notes about your interviews, and even set reminders to follow up. It helps you stay organized and on top of things throughout the whole process. Like having a personal assistant dedicated to helping you land your dream job. That's fantastic. Now, something that's always on my mind when I'm thinking about a new career, growth potential. What does the career guide say about advancement opportunities for road transport maintenance schedulers?
It's pretty exciting, actually. You've got options.
Yeah.
You could move up into a supervisor or manager role within the maintenance department, or you could specialize in something like fleet management or preventative maintenance, become a real expert.
So you can climb the ladder or branch out into more specialized roles?
Exactly. And you could even move into related fields like operations management or logistics. The key is to keep learning. They really stress getting certifications, going to workshops, even contributing to industry publications. It's a field that rewards ambition and always learning new things.
Sounds like a career where you can build a real future. Let's zoom out for a second and talk big picture. What are some key trends shaping this field?
Technology is huge, as we saw with CMMS. Predictive maintenance is becoming a big deal, using sensors and data analysis to spot problems before they happen. This not only prevents breakdowns, but it also makes scheduling and resource allocation way more efficient.
So it's about moving from reacting to problems to preventing them, being one step ahead.
Exactly. And sustainability is another major trend. There's a big push to use eco-friendly products and explore alternative fuels, which directly impacts how maintenance is done.
So you need to be adaptable and open to new technologies and ways of doing things. What else?
The role itself is getting more complex. It's not just about mechanical stuff anymore. You're managing data, working with different people, keeping up with constantly changing regulations. It's challenging but rewarding, especially if you love solving problems, enjoy working with technology, and are passionate about keeping cities moving.
Great point. And speaking of challenges, what about those curveball questions interviewers throw at you? The ones that test how you think on your feet? Any advice?
Stay calm and try to connect the question back to your skills and experience. For example, if they ask, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Don't just say flying or invisibility. Think about a superpower that would be useful in this job.
Like predicting mechanical failures or analyzing massive data sets instantly.
Exactly. Show them you understand the job and can think outside the box. And it's okay to take a moment to think. A thoughtful pause is better than a rushed answer.
Good advice. The career guide also mentioned networking is important in this field. How can our listener connect with other professionals?
Industry conferences and events are great for meeting people and staying on top of trends. Joining professional organizations like the International Maintenance and Reliability Association or the Institute of Transportation Engineers can give you access to networking events, online forums, and industry publications.
And don't forget about LinkedIn. A strong profile and engaging in relevant groups and discussions can really expand your network.
Absolutely. It's all about putting yourself out there and making those connections. You never know where they might lead.
All right, we've covered a lot getting ready for this interview, but before we wrap up, we need to talk about asking thoughtful questions at the end.
That's so important. It shows you're engaged and truly interested. Skip the generic questions like, what are the benefits? Go deeper.
Like what?
Try something like, what are some of the biggest challenges the team is facing? Or what are the company's plans for incorporating new technologies like predictive maintenance? You could also ask about professional development opportunities like training programs or chances to go to industry conferences.
Great examples. And speaking of leaving a good impression, any last tips on answering questions in a way that makes you stand out?
Most importantly, be yourself. Let your personality and passion shine through. Don't be a robot reciting memorized answers. Listen carefully, ask for clarification if you need to, and tailor your responses to show you get what they need.
Be present, engaged, and genuine.
Exactly. And stories can be super powerful. Leaving in anecdotes from your past experiences can bring your skills and accomplishments to life and make you more memorable.
Stories definitely stick with people.
They do. And finally, project confidence and enthusiasm. You've worked hard to get here. Believe in yourself and let your passion for the role show.
Now let's talk about something that can be a bit scary for some people. Salary negotiations. Any tips on how to approach that confidently?
Absolutely. Do your research. Use websites like Glassdoor and Salary.com to get a sense of the typical salary range for this role in your area.
Know your worth.
Exactly. And remember, negotiation is a two-way street. It's about finding a win-win. Be confident in advocating for yourself, but also be respectful of the company's budget and how they do things.
Preparation and collaboration, got it.
Right. You want to start things off on the right foot.
Okay, before we wrap up, any other advice to help our listener really stand out?
Here's an insider tip. Interviewers love it when candidates show genuine interest in the company and the industry. Go beyond just reading the About Us page on their website.
Okay, how deep are we talking?
Read industry articles, check out their social media, see if they've been in any news stories. Mention something specific that impressed you about their work or what they stand for. It shows you're not just looking for any job. You're interested in them.
That's smart. It shows you've done your homework and are invested in their success.
Exactly. And it can spark some really interesting conversations during the interview.
Before we move on to the last part of our deep dive, let's touch on something that often gets overlooked. Body language. Even in a virtual interview, it matters.
It really does. Think about your posture, eye contact, and how you come across. Sit up straight, smile, make eye contact with the camera. It projects confidence and enthusiasm.
It's about putting your best foot forward, even through a screen.
Exactly. Now, let's say everything goes great and you get the offer. Congrats. What should you think about before accepting?
Besides doing a happy dance.
Of course, that's a must. But seriously, make sure the salary and benefits are what you expect. Don't be afraid to negotiate if you need to. And think beyond the money. What's the company culture like? The team? The opportunities for growth and development? Does this role fit with your long-term goals?
It's about finding the right fit, not just taking the first thing that comes along.
Exactly. It's a big decision, so make sure it's right for you.
Okay, we've covered a lot in this deep dive. From understanding the role in the industry to prepping for tough questions and negotiating a job offer, I think our listener is well equipped. But before we wrap up completely, I want to leave them with one final thought. We've talked a lot about using RoleCatcher's AI to gain an edge. But at the end of the day, the most important factor in your success is you.
Yeah, you've got to bring your own drive and passion to the table.
Absolutely. Tools are great, but they can't replace that spark, that dedication to learning and that genuine enthusiasm for keeping those wheels turning. That's what really sets people apart. So to our listener, we hope this deep dive has given you some good insights and the confidence to really nail that interview.
And remember, this field has so much potential. Cities are growing, more people are relying on public transportation, the need for skilled professionals like you, it's only going to go up.
Exactly. So embrace the challenge, believe in yourself, and never stop learning. We know you've got what it takes to succeed in this field. It's exciting, it's rewarding, and it makes a real difference.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that about wraps it up for today. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.